And also being African, right? So being African in the U.S. is viewed as a positive when it comes to schools. When it comes to other spaces, it's not the same. This is me just sharing a little bit about just my knowledge in education. When you're a black person in the U.S., particularly in urban spaces like New York City, and go to a public school, and you're not acting up in class, if you're just quiet, that will get you far. But if you're in a progressive or suburban school, not participating is a problem. They want you to engage, right?
Yeah. How was the transitioning process for you? Because you started as a student immigrant, right? So how was it coming into America as a student immigrant and making it? I'm making it. Let's just say I'm making it. When you were, obviously, you probably did some research before actually applying and getting the job as a professor in your department. Were there any black women who were preceding you in that position? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's MIRA Moves here, right? And this new year, we've been bringing the content back to back, right? I've been able to drag Dr. Ejapong here again for a second part to what we already started discussing. I feel like the past year has been so tough, like on different levels. What better way to like start the year than giving us like so much motivation and letting us know it's possible, basically. I, for one, I don't know if I've told you this, I think I already have. I look up to you so much because, you know why? We don't get to see people of color in the kind of positions that you are in. That's true. I already looked at your departmental profile. You're the only black woman there. I am. That representation is what we want to see. And me, I don't know. I don't want to tag myself as a feminist. Just like to say I am representing women of color. I'm representing black people, especially Africans, because it's good to let them know it's possible, right? When you go and you see people in top places and you see that representation, it makes you know that it's possible. And then, like I was telling you earlier, you know what? If you want to hear more about this content, just keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have Dr. Ejapong here. She was in the previous video, and I'd like her to introduce herself again for those of you who probably have skipped the other one. So if you don't mind giving us an introduction again.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Mercy Ejapong. I am an assistant professor of sociology of education in the Department of Applied Statistics, Social Science, and Humanities at NYU.
In case you don't know, we are both in NYU, but we are in NYU at different capacities. I'm a student and she's a professor. So we kind of like bring different, and she was once a grad student in NYU as well. So she gives us different perspective of the coin, basically. Talking about the fact that you are the only you are the only black woman in your faculty right now. How does it feel?
It feels good. It feels good. Initially it felt like lonely, right? It felt lonely because not only am I the only black woman in the department, I am also one of the youngest in the department. In a position like the professoriate, there's a lot of power dynamics, right? There's a lot, and I also look very, very young. Most of you guys cannot guess my age.
I did it.
Yeah. And whatever you're gonna guess, I'm probably a couple of years older than that, right? And because I look so young, and also a black woman and a dark-skinned black woman in a space that I occupy, you know, unapologetically, it could be very intimidating for other people as well. But I would say, for my particular department, they've been nothing but amazing to me.
Wow.
I mean, they have been so supportive, extremely supportive. They do know that I'm on tenure track, which means that I had my job for like 6 years, but it's not guaranteed after the 6 years. And so they like kind of leave me alone to do things I need to do to get tenure, because they know that the road to tenure is so intense. There's so much work and criticism attached to the process that they really just have allowed me to like just do what I want to do, but are available for me to talk to, which to me I think is what I need. I don't like working with people on me. I like to be left alone and figure things out. And so that's great, but they also are very proactive in contacting me and always checking up on me, making sure I'm well, asking me if I need anything and things of that nature. So for me, it's been an amazing process. I just have a solid group of people who just want me to get tenure, and they've said it many, many times, we want you to get tenure, and we're gonna do our parts to make sure that happens. Now all I have to do is my part to make sure that happens. And that's what you want. That's the kind of environment you want to be in, right? People who because they actually determine whether I get tenure or not. And the fact that they want me to get tenure is a good start, right? Now I just gotta do my part of it. Yeah.
When you were, obviously you probably did some research before actually applying and getting the job as a professor in your department. Were there any black women who were preceding you in that position? Right.
I was also a student in this particular department.
Right.
And when I was a student, I started my graduate career in 2010 actually.
Right.
And when I started it, there were no black women there,
right.
to my knowledge. And so, I guess that's the
right.
answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so many groundbreaking.
Thank you.
I mean, that's groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Sis has shattered the ceiling. The whole ceiling is already crashed. And I also want to talk about the fact that you are actually Ghanaian, and you were born in Ghana, and you stayed in Ghana for a while before coming in here. How was the transitioning process for you? Because you started as a student immigrant, right? So how was it? How a lot of people right now. I mean, I looked at the analytics on my channel, and most people that watch me or watch my channel are between the ages of 18 and 24, like about a good 73% of them.
Wow.
So what is the advice, or like what is your dynamic in terms of coming into America as a student immigrant and making it? I'm making it. Let's just say I'm making it.
I'm making it. Okay. Well, I mean, by my definition of making it, yes, I think I'm making it. I'm still making it. But we have to understand that people have different routes that they're interested in. So maybe making it for you is a different,
right.
It looks different.
Okay,
than
making it educationally.
Yes. As a professor might not be what you want to do, but in terms of the question, great question. I came here when I was 10. I was like a week shy of my 11th birthday. When I came in the summertime, and I think my transition into school was complicated by my family situation in the U.S., right? So I came here, I essentially just flew here by myself. My father was already here. He had been here for 7 years before I came. And when I was in Ghana, I lived with my mom and my brother. And so I didn't really know my dad that well. Like, I knew him because we spoke every week, but like I hadn't met him, right? He left when I was 3, so I didn't really know him. And when I was moving here, I was told that I was going to come and live with him. And so I came here, and that didn't happen, right? Because, families.
Yeah. And trust me, all of us kind of like have that.
Yeah.
One way or the other, you know somebody in the US, so you would just contact them and let them know you are coming, and then you come, and then the story is different.
It's different here. I know.
You come, and then it's like your story is different. You can't even stay with the person no more, and it's like. So I mean, that is kind of like
it's very common,
really, but different capacities. I feel.
For me, it was it could have been traumatic, and it probably was. I think I didn't make sense of how traumatic it was, so I was an adult, because I was so young when I came, and then having to like thinking I'm gonna come and live with somebody, and then being told I'm not, and then being very confused because I'm in a new land. I don't know anybody here. My mom is home. Like, my safety is back in Ghana, and all those things. Talking about how that transitioned into school. So when I went into 6th grade when I came, when school started in September, and I was, the week before school, I was just taken to some family members to live with who I, again, didn't know, right? So lived with them for 3 years, but for junior high, which is in America, 6th through 8th grade. So my 6th grade experience was actually quite interesting, for lack of a better word, because in Ghana I went to private schools when I was in Ghana. So I spoke English.
Do you still remember the name of it?
Yeah, St. Anthony's Prep School, preparatory school. That's the school that I was in when I was in Ghana. And so when I came to the U.S., I spoke English. I just spoke English with an accent, as they would call it. And not only that, I guess I also didn't dress cool enough for like 6th graders, right? And so I was made fun of for like, my Africanness was made fun of, right? They're like, oh, African booty scratcher.
Okay.
And teachers asked me, really, really disparaging questions, such as like, well, first teachers were claiming that they couldn't understand what I was saying. Again, I spoke English.
Exactly.
I just spoke with a Ghanaian accent specifically. They claimed they couldn't understand me, but I had teachers and students ask me about like, did you have a pet monkey? Things of that nature, right?
Which is absurd. When I first started teaching, when I was teaching as a teaching assistant in my previous like institution and everything, the very first thing I say is, "Hi guys, I have an accent. If you don't understand anything I'm saying, don't feel shy. I would repeat myself."
Exactly. They hear the accent already, they foreignize you. You're a foreigner, so like it doesn't matter. Whatever you're saying makes no sense. Which I'm just like, yeah, but if you understand English, then you should understand what I'm saying, right?
And they kind of downplay your intelligence.
Yeah, so I would say they equated my accent as being unintelligible, right? They took me as being unintelligible because I had an accent. And for me, that was actually way more traumatizing than I thought it was, because I completely became silent. Like I did not speak all throughout middle school. Like
I have a lot of people say the same thing.
Yeah, I did not.
They don't even. That is traumatizing.
So I didn't. Yeah, so I didn't talk. I mean, I didn't realize this till I was an adult and was like, of course, reflecting back on my education because I am in the field of education, particularly education policy. So these are things that I now think of, right? But I was silenced for 3 years, and I didn't really technically start talking, like actively engaging in school, participating actively till I was in grad school. And when I was in high school and then moved on to undergrad, I was saying things here and there, but I wasn't actively engaging. But I also learned that because I was quiet, teachers equated that with being a good student, right? Oh. Which is a problem. This is me just sharing a little bit about just my knowledge in education. When you're a black person in the U.S., particularly in urban spaces like New York City, and go to a public school, and you're not acting up in class, if you're just quiet, that will get you far. That will get you far. But if you're in a progressive or suburban school, not participating is a problem. They want you to engage, right? And
that's
so
the dynamics in different.
So I got really good grades in high school, and also being African, right? So being African in the U.S. is viewed as a positive when it comes to schools. When it comes to other spaces, it's not the same.
We would have to talk about that. Okay, so I kind of remember that we were in a Zoom meeting, and then this lady was also into education like yourself, and she was just pulling up statistics and talking about how Africans have like the highest amount of PhDs in the US. What's happening to the actual US people?
So